Honorable Olekina Ledama, they are getting in. So as the quorum bell is on, we will be seeing the members walking in. Once the quorum is achieved this time round, being hopeful is that the sergeant at arms will alert the clerk and the speaker that the quorum has been achieved, and the speaker will call the house to order for the commencement of the house. But as you can see, no members yet to make the requisite quorum. At the table of the speaker, engagements are on from the clerk to the a number of senators there. Of course, maybe engaging on how this will be picked up if the quorum is not achieved. But this is the second quorum bell. Remember, the first one has lapsed, and this is the second bell. That is the Vihiga Senator, Godfrey Osotsi. And of course, we will be hearing from the Speaker on how he will be guiding the House the way forward if the quorum is not achieved. 15 members, just to remind you, or rather is the number that is required. The Speaker is talking. Let's listen in.
The bell for a further 10 minutes.
Yet another 10-minute quorum bell. If the 10 minutes this time round lapse, that will be a cumulative of 30 minutes. Is it that the members were not aware that the sitting will be starting at 9? Maybe they thought it will be starting at 9:30 as the usual, or rather the normal plenary sitting, especially the one that is held on a Wednesday. It usually starts at 9:30. Perhaps the members will be making calls to their colleagues to remind them that this morning there was this a sitting that is meant to be hearing the impeachment proposals from the County Assembly of Meru that resolved to have the Governor, Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, be removed from office by impeachment, and that the Senate on Tuesday resolved to have this matter be heard and determined at the plenary sitting, or the plenary way. Remember, the Senate last week found itself a bit sharply divided on how to, or rather the best approach to hear and determine this case, and the majority of the numbers resolved to have the matter be heard and determined at the plenary sitting. A number of impeachment hearings that have taken place at the Senate is that have been heard and determined at a committee level of 11 members, but this was not agreed upon last week when they were looking at the best approach to look at this matter, and the matter was resolved to be heard at the plenary. So this marks the first sitting and first day to hear the impeachment proposal as forwarded to the Senate. And this morning the House was to sit, get a communication from the Speaker and guide them on how to go about the case. Then the members were to proceed on a pre-hearing meeting, or rather retreat on a pre-hearing meeting in a closed door session, then resume the sittings and be open to the public at around 11 a.m. So up until now, the chair, or rather the Speaker, has taken the seat. A few members are in the chambers, but the quorum is the elephant in the house. It has not been achieved yet. 15 members have not been able to make their way to the chambers to enable the House. Can say that is paralyzing the House business this morning. And of course, we will be waiting to see whether the quorum is achieved. If this quorum bell that is currently underway, it is another 10-minute quorum bell that is underway. It's a 10-minute. If the number is not achieved at the lapse of these 10 minutes, then it will be a cumulative of 30 minutes of waiting for the senators to make their way to the chambers for this sitting. Is it because it is a chilly morning, or maybe they thought that the sitting will start at 9:30. We will be waiting to see how that pans out. But as it is that today's morning sitting was the commencement or mark the beginning of the impeachment here of Meru. And forwarded these charges and its resolution to the Senate to have the matter investigated and determined. 7 charges facing the governor. Earlier on, we looked at 4 charges. The 5th charge is that the governor is accused of contempt of court. She's said to have grossly violated Article 10 and 73 of the Constitution, Section 7 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and Section 10 of the Public Officers Ethics Act by engaging in a contumacious, stubborn refusal to obey lawful court orders. Charge number 6 that the governor is accused of is that illegally naming a public road after her husband. This includes grossly violated Articles 10 and 73 of the Constitution and Sections 7 and 11, 1C of the Meru County Owners and Awards Act 2018 by naming a public road after her husband without following the applicable statutory procedures. The last charge that the governor is being accused of is the contempt of the assembly. She is said to have refused to honor summons from the County Assembly's Sectoral Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Cohesion to answer questions related to the impeachment motion. Also directed her Chief of Staff to send a contemptuous letter to the Assembly in response to the summons for her to appear before the Sectoral Committee. And through the CECM Finance, this is the Minister of Finance at the county level, and the county secretary refused to furnish documents to the Assembly on the grounds that an audit process was underway and that the matters raised by the Assembly were sub judice. These are some of the particulars within the 7 charges that the governor is accused of or is facing, and that the Senate at the plenary sitting is expected to investigate, scrutinize, and make a decision on whether these accusations that have been accused, or rather that have been leveled against the governor by the county assembly, will be substantiated or not. But remember, these accusations will be heard and determined at the plenary sitting, or rather the plenary sitting way. On Saturday, the 2 parties, the 2 sides forwarded, it was the last day for the 2 parties to be able to forward their submissions to the Senate. All right, those are more members. That is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Kathuri Murungi, of course, walking in, and followed by various members. Hopefully that the number this time round will be achieved. The time now is 9:33, and we can see the members walking in numbers. And in a few minutes, of course, we are hoping that the Sergeant at Arms will, indicate to us, or rather to the Speaker, that finally the quorum has been achieved. Nyeri Senator, they are working in with the majority leader, Honorable Aaron Cheruiyot, you see. So the quorum has been achieved. The quorum has been achieved finally at 9:33. So allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast. Good morning.
Much later, kindly take your seats. Honorable Senator's order. Senator Ledama, kindly take your seat. Majority Leader. Majority Leader, you should be helping the chair to bring calm in the House. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, communication from the chair.
We recall that at the sitting of the Senate held on Thursday, 2nd November 2023, I appointed Tuesday 7th and Wednesday 8th November 2023 as the days when the Senate will hear the charges for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. Subsequently, a procedural motion for the alteration of the sitting time of the Senate for Tuesday 7th and Wednesday 8th November 2023 to facilitate the impeachment hearing against the Governor of Meru County was considered and approved by the Senate on Thursday 2nd November 2023. Consequently, a hearing program has been prepared and appended to today's order paper. Honorable Senators, as is the tradition, and in line with the schedule of activities for an impeachment hearing and plenary, the Senate will hold a closed preparatory session to discuss the management of the investigation. This is aimed at ensuring that the process is conducted seamlessly and concluded timeously, in line with the requirements set out under the County Governments Act and the Senate Standing Orders. I now, therefore, direct that all members of public, including the media, to withdraw from the galleries and any form of broadcast from the chamber to cease forthwith. The open session and hearing will thereafter commence at 11 a.m. as per the hearing program. I thank you.
Well, as I had indicated earlier, is that the Speaker was to make a communication to the senators, guiding them on how the process will be going, and that communication has been made. Then the members are retreating to a pre-hearing session. This is a closed session, so they will be done by 11. It will be open to the public at 11 a.m. Allow me to hand it back to our studios in KBC for normal programming. But at 11, we shall be back with the proceedings over the Senate on this day. Good morning. Well, a very good morning. And the senators have just concluded a closed session with regards to the proposed removal from office by impeachment Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County. Just to inform you is that this is a live broadcast of the Senate on this 7th day of November, the year 2020. Broadcasting unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. The Senate sitting this morning began at around 9:30, or rather 9, as scheduled. In the order paper for this particular sitting, there was a communication from the speaker on how the proceeding or the hearing will be done. Just a brief communication. Then the senators retreated to a closed door session where they had a few engagements, and now the House is back, and this is a live proceeding or live transmission from the Senate chambers, where the members will now be officially starting this particular hearing that came as a result of a resolution by the County Assembly of the Meru County government to remove from office by impeachment the Honorable Governor of the Meru County, Kawira Mwangaza. And the senators last week agreed that the investigation of the accusation or the charges and its determination will be done by way of plenary. So this is the first sitting of the first day. The hearing has been slated for 2 days. 2 days have been appointed for hearing this particular case or impeachment, and it is today, the 7th, and tomorrow, Wednesday, the 8th of November. So this morning at this time is when senators are planning or will be convening to start the official hearing of this particular case. So once the House settles, as of now, of course, after the closed door session, members walked out, of course, to have a brief break. And then they will be resuming their seats in the chambers. And once the House settles, then the Speaker will, of course, make a communication on how the whole process will be taking place. This one will be on the recital of the mandate of the Senate. This will be done by the Speaker, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi. The rules that will be set of the procedure and the hearing program will be laid out by the Speaker once the House settles. Remember, this is a case that was forwarded to the Senate by the Meru County Assembly, accusing the executive, in this case the governor. So the two parties will be within the precincts of Parliament, because as the program indicates, is that once the communication on the mandate of the Senate and the rules of the procedure and the hearing program is read out by the Speaker to the whole House and to the concerned parties. Then we will have both parties make their introductions. They will be given time to make an introduction that is of the County Assembly of Meru, which is representing the County Assembly and their council, if any. And of course, we will also see the introduction of the Governor of Meru County and the council representing the Governor, if any. Just to make a clarification here is that on Saturday, the deadline for the submissions from both parties was reached, and both parties complied with with making of their submissions. In this case, submissions, we're looking at if there are any evidence that the accusers or the County Assembly have, if there are any sworn affidavits, if there are any personal statements, maybe from witnesses, any possible transaction documents with regards to the accusations that they had made, and of course any evidence that they deem important in making their accusations valid, in this case before the Senate, and of course from the Governor also too made their submission, in this case any evidence that will be countering the accusations that have been made against it, and of course any other evidence that the particular council will deem fit to enable it absolve the Governor of the accusations that have been leveled against her. So once the hearing starts, then the Speaker will set the rules of the House on how the whole process will be taking place today and tomorrow. And of course, the two parties, that is the County Assembly and the Executive, will be given their time, of course, to introduce themselves. That is the and on the other hand, also countering the accusations that have been leveled against the Governor. Standing Order 80 of the Senate, Part 3, indicates that the Governor shall have the right to appear and be represented before the Senate. In this case, the House resolved to go the plenary way. So in this case, the Governor will be appearing before the Senate, that is the whole House. That has 67 senators, and will be able to appear and be represented, in this case, of course, with her or the Executive's legal team during the investigations. So the House is currently on a brief break. Remember, earlier on, the House sat in a closed door session. Of course, remember, once the submissions were made on Saturday, the members also had the opportunity to interact with some of the submissions. And of course, this morning in the closed door session, They also further had an engagement with the submissions to familiarize themselves on what exactly the case entails, the accusations, and any evidence that has been presented. Of course, this is to give them that particular opportunity to be able to have a clear understanding. Of course, each and every member will have an opportunity to scrutinize what the County Assembly of Meru has leveled as accusations against the governor in a way that they have resolved to have her removed from office. So that is part of what this and once the hearing is done, at the end of it, of course, we will have the members vote on each of the charges. 7 charges are facing the governor, including misuse of funds, misappropriation of before the Senate, answering to charges of misappropriation and misuse of county resources, or with regards to impeachment. This is the second time. In 20 was at the Senate facing the first impeachment proposal that was also forwarded by the County Assembly. In this case, that particular impeachment not be going the committee way, but they resolved to have the investigation be done at the plenary. There is the, of course, with the legal counsel, and we will also be able to see the team that is representing the county, the legal team that will be representing the governor, the council, Elisha Ongoya. I think we have seen Elias Mutuma is also one of those that we have just seen seated next, forwarded to the Senate, that will be representing the governor as the legal team. That is Elisha Ongoya and Elias.
Mr. Paul, what do you do for a living?
Honorable Senators, the witness has a statement. Which statement is contained in your bundles and also contained in your, apart from the physical booklets that you're holding, your iPads also contain soft copy. So, Council, maybe you will refer to the bundle.
Yes.
Where that statement is, so that you aid the senators to move in there.
I will constantly be referring, Mr. Speaker, to 2 documents, that is Volume 1 and Volume 3. So, Honorable Speaker, I will constantly be referring to Volume 1, the Green booklet. I will also be making constant reference to Volume 2, the big Volume 2 is written at the top of Volume 2. Sorry, at the bottom. So, Mr. Paul, you indicated that your statement is filed on which page?
Volume 1, page 48 to page 51.
Page 48 of Volume 1. Honorable Speaker, I believe everybody, we are now together. Thank you. What do you do for a living?
Currently, I'm the CEO, Meru County Alcoholic Drinks Control Board.
For how long have you served as the CEO of the Liquor Board?
I started serving as CEO of Meru County Alcoholic Drinks Control Board from January 2018 until now. I'm supposed to be serving until now.
Very well. Who is your employer? Whom do you report to on a daily basis in your operation?
My employer is the board.
Your employer is the board. Please explain to this Honorable House what happened on the 6th of September 2022 in respect to your employment.
With respect to my employment, Mr. Speaker, on 6th of September, I was called together with my colleagues in heading other corporations, and we were served with a compulsory leave letter.
Compulsory, you are saying you were served. That indicates you and who?
Myself and my colleagues who are heading the other corporations.
Yourself and your colleagues who ends the corporations?
Yes.
Is it the entire corporations in the Meru County or that particular a few corporations?
On the 6th,
how many were you? In other
we were
words?
3. Those who received our letters were 3 on the 6th of September.
And yourself, that makes it 4.
There was a previous one which was issued on the 29th of August to my colleague, Dr. Ntoiti, who was heading Meru Revenue Board.
You said the date again, 29th of?
29th of August.
When was the governor of Meru, when did the governor of Meru take, when was she sworn in office?
The governor was sworn on 25th of August.
25th of August.
Yes.
When was her first day in the office?
I'm not certain the exact certain day that she was in office.
Yes.
But my colleague, Dr. Ntoiti, was served barely a weekend after the governor was inaugurated.
You said barely a weekend after the governor was sworn in?
Yes.
That is to indicate that the governor, Dr. Ntoiti, was served the first day, or was sacked the first day the governor took office?
We can see that.
Is that your evidence?
That is true.
Prior to the letter setting you on compulsory leave, did you have any interaction, any prior interaction with the governor?
Mr. Speaker, not at all.
Not at all. You've made reference to your letter setting you on compulsory leave. Would you guide the Senate, the Honorable Senate, on where the same can be filed? For purposes of record, so for following the proceedings, where can those documents be filed?
The compulsory leave letters can be found in volume 2 from page 336.
306?
To 339.
Volume 2, Honorable
Volume 2, the big
Speaker,
volume.
I am making reference to the big booklet written volume 2 at the top, at the bottom. You said the letters are found in pages?
336?
Yes.
To 339.
What was to happen to your institution once you were sent on compulsory leave? Who was to man the institutions?
Immediately we were sent on indefinite compulsory leave.
Yes.
Other persons were appointed in acting capacity.
Other persons were appointed in acting capacity.
Yes.
Were they formally appointed?
They were appointed from the office of the governor.
Were they formally appointed? Is there a formal appointment letter to that respect?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Where is the formal letters filed? Where are the formal letters appointing your representative filed?
Mr. Speaker, they are found on page 340 to 342.
Pages 340 to pages 342 of which booklet?
Of volume 2, Mr. Speaker.
Of the same document, volume 2. Upon receiving the letters of setting you on compulsory leave, did you make any attempt to establish the cause, the charge, or the reason as to why that has happened a day or a few days into assuming office of the governor?
Mr. Speaker, we interrogated the letter and we found that it was not right, and we made several efforts.
Several efforts to do what?
Several efforts to be reinstated back to our offices because we thought we were sent home and procedurally.
You made some, sorry again, you made efforts to do what?
We made efforts to get reinstatement from the governor.
Did you have any audience with the governor over the same, or the subject matter?
We had audience with the governor, we had audience with the county secretary on the same matter.
What did the County Secretary in particular say?
The County Secretary indicated to us that clearly we could not be reinstated because he was acting on the instructions of the governor herself.
Did you sit down with the governor over the same?
We did not get an opportunity to sit with the governor on the same later, but the County Secretary gave us the instructions.
After you are unable to meet the governor personally, and the County Secretary indicated that he had instructions from the governor not to allow you back, what did you do? What action did you take?
After all those efforts failed, Mr. Speaker, we made an application to court to seek redress and to seek reinstatement through the court.
Through the court. That is to mean that you filed a matter in court?
We filed a matter in court, Mr. Speaker.
Who are the you filed the matter alongside who? Who are the petitioners in the matter?
The petitioners were myself, the MD, Meru Revenue Board, Dr. John Toiti, Joseph Beria, the CEO, Meru Water Sanitation Services, and Kimadi, the end of Meru Microfinance Corporation, Mr. Speaker.
That is to mean that you are the first, you filed as first to fourth respondent.
We filed as,
petitioners.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And what did the court rule in respect to your matter?
The court issued stay or conservatory orders reinstating us back to office, Mr. Speaker.
The court ruled that you be reinstated back to the office. What else did the court rule?
The court also further ruled that those who are in acting capacity in our place be removed from office or be issued with letters cancelling their appointment on acting capacity, Mr. Speaker.
Therefore, it's your evidence that the court ruled that you be returned back to work and letters of appointment of your predecessor be revoked. Is that so?
It's true, Mr. Speaker.
Did you, in your statement, annex that particular court order?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Where can the same be established?
We annexed the court order on volume 416, volume 2, page 416.
Volume 2, Honourable Speaker, the big booklet, pages?
416.
416?
Yes.
416, which contained two prayers, according to your evidence, one of reinstatement and the other one of revocation. Please confirm.
I can confirm that, Mr. Speaker.
And in compliance to that order, did you serve it upon the governor and the county secretary?
Yes, they were duly served, Mr. Speaker.
You were duly served?
Yeah.
How do you confirm to this honorable house that you did duly serve upon the governor and the county secretary the particular court order?
Through a notice of service.
You served?
Yes.
Upon service, what happened? Was the same respected? Was the same court order obeyed?
The court orders were disobeyed.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker.
Please explain to the court how the same order were disobeyed.
Mr. Speaker.
Explain to the Senate, sorry.
Mr. Speaker, upon the court issuing orders,
yes,
there was a meeting convened at a place called Mitungo by the governor.
Yes.
In which the first gentleman in that meeting threatened to organize people to flush us out of office in case we went with that court order to report back to office, Mr. Speaker.
So who threatened the against disobedience of court order?
The first gentleman is the one who threatened to mobilize people to come and evict us.
Was the governor present in that particular meeting?
The governor was exactly present in that meeting, Mr. Speaker.
Do you have any evidence to that particular meeting you are making reference to?
The evidence is in a video form, Mr. Speaker.
In a video form. Honourable Speaker, the video, with your leave, maybe we can have the video played, the video in support of contempt of court be played to the court, to the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, that's the video in support of count 5.
Yes.
Hata koti ikisema urudi kwa ile ofisi, Sasa Mtoiti wewe ndio tunafurusha. Hata koti ikisema urudi kwa ile ofisi, Mtoiti sisi tunashikana na hawa maasra, tunakutoa pale. Mtoiti hautakaribia ile ofisi, na pia Mberia aambiwa kwamba hii ofisi ya MEWAS hata ikaribia.
In that video, did you hear the first gentleman mention the petitioners?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, he has mentioned Beria and my colleague Toiti.
And you'd also wish that evidence of a video be part of your examination in chief?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Did you report back to the office?
Yes,
in compliance with the court order?
In compliance with the court order, Mr. Speaker, we reported back to office.
Yes.
And indeed, Mr. Speaker, the threat was actualized and we were chased out of office ruthlessly.
What do you mean by being chased out of the office ruthlessly?
There were people organized who evicted us from offices, Mr. Speaker.
So you are physically evicted from the office?
We are physically evicted from the office and the precincts of the offices.
The second limp of the court order talked of the governor revoking the appointment of those appointed in your capacity. Did those appointments, were those appointments revoked?
The appointments of those who were acting in place, Mr. Speaker, were never revoked at all.
They were never revoked at all. That's your statement.
Yes, Mr.
That is to mean that they are still acting as CEOs in your establishments?
Up to now, those letters have not been revoked, Mr. Speaker.
Are those CEOs still in office, in your respective offices?
Mr. Speaker, because they were acting in their inacting capacity,
yes.
Upon us obtaining contempt of court orders, we have been able to get back to office, and some of them have been reappointed back again under different capacity.
What happened after the court order was, you have jumped the gun, what happened after the court order was disobeyed, when you were evicted from the office? What happened? What action did you take?
Mr. Speaker, we made an effort, and we applied for contempt of court orders.
You applied for contempt of court orders?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Has the court pronounced itself on the contempt of court?
The court did pronounce itself on contempt of court.
Yes.
And convicted the governor and the county secretary and another of contempt of court.
Yes. So, sorry, the last bit,
They were cited, the governor was cited for contempt of court, Mr. Speaker.
The governor was cited for contempt of court. Do you have that particular order or a ruling to that effect, citing the governor for contempt of court?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Where can it be established for quick reference?
From page 418, Mr. Speaker.
We start with
418 of volume 2.
We start with the ruling. Where is the ruling found? Pages?
The ruling is on page 418.
Page 418 to pages. Of which volume? Of volume 2? Of volume 2. Pages 418 to pages?
Pages, the ruling is found on page 418 to page 439.
Page 439. And the order, and the particular order setting governor for contempt is established, is found on pages?
It's found on page 440.
Pages 440.
And 441.
Of which, again, on which volume?
Volume 2.
On volume 2. According to those two court documents, was the governor found guilty of a court order?
Yes, he did. The governor was found guilty for contempt of court.
Was she punished accordingly?
The court scheduled a date for punishment.
Yes.
And the county secretary appeared in court to show cause why they should not be punished.
The county secretary, on behalf, appeared to demonstrate why they should not be punished. Did she appear?
He did appear, Mr. Speaker.
After appearing, what happened?
After appearing, a date was, the governor was ordered to reinstate us back to office under supervision of the county secretary, Mr. Speaker.
That is to mean, sorry, would you recall when the county secretary was instructed to take you back to the office? Would you recall?
I would recall, Mr. Speaker.
That is when?
That is on 23rd of last month. That is
23rd of September.
23rd of September.
That is barely 2 weeks
Barely
ago.
2 weeks ago, Mr. Speaker.
What happened to the punishment in respect to contempt of court? Was it administered at that time?
The court has rescheduled the punishment to today so that the county secretary can go back and prove whether they really honored.
It is your evidence that the court punishment was scheduled for today,
The punishment is scheduled for
which
today,
you may not tell what happened.
which I may not tell the outcome, Mr. Speaker.
In all this saga, were your respective boards notified of the proceeding of what is happening? Your respective boards, you said the management of the board, the corporation are through the boards. Were they notified of what has been happening?
They weren't, Mr.
In
Speaker.
respect to you? Sorry?
They weren't.
They were not. Your letter of setting on compulsory leave talks of reason being to reorganize the board.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Have you ever, for the last 1 year, been called upon for reorganization of the board as a CEO?
Mr. Speaker, no.
Sorry?
No.
You have never been called upon.
Yes.
Does the governor have power over reorganization of matters in respect to your independent corporations?
The semi-autonomous government agencies like our corporations are supposed to be reorganized by the boards.
By the board. Now, for the entire period of 1 year that you've been away, until only 14 days ago when you resumed your office as the CEO, were you getting your salaries?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Salaries? Sorry?
Yes, I was earning my salaries while at home.
You were earning your salaries while at home.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Did the court order provide that you be paid your salaries? Did it address the question of you being paid your salaries while away for a whole year?
No, Mr. Speaker.
What stated that you'll be paid your salaries for the entire period that you'll be away?
The compulsory leave letter, which came from the office of the governor, is the one that indicated we shall be entitled to full pay and all benefits while we are home in indefinite
Therefore,
leave.
the compulsory leave stated that you'll be paid your full salary while you are at home.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And were you actually paid your full salary while at home?
Indeed, we were paid.
For the entire period?
For the entire period.
Do you have evidence to the effect that you continued being paid salaries while you are not working?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Where are the copies for ease of reference again? Where are they being established? Found in this?
Volume 2, page 35.
Volume 2, pages 35.
To
pages number?
Let me correct it, please, Mr. Speaker. Volume 2, page 33. To pages 33, beginning from page 33 to page 41.
To pages 41.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And to this 1 year after, to this extent today, have you ever known the reason as to why you were sent on compulsory leave by the governor and the county secretary?
It has never been communicated to any one of us the reason for compulsory leave, Mr. Speaker.
None of you has ever known why you were sent on compulsory leave.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And you said that only 14 days ago, the governor complied with the court order and reinstated you back to your office alongside the acting CEOs. That was your evidence.
It is true.
What, in your opinion, why do you think the governor was able to comply with a court order a year after the initial order was granted?
Mr. Speaker, the governor may have complied basically because she had been found to be in contempt of court and her punishment was about to happen. And the next thing...
Therefore, it's your evidence that she was fearing the looming punishment by the court?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
The next thing was?
The next thing was there was an impeding motion of impeachment a day to the day we were escorted back to office. And it was a ground.
Now, according to you, again, your opinion, who do you think is to blame for you being illegally sent on compulsory leave?
I would lay the blame on the governor herself.
Why do you say so? What is the foundation of your opinion?
Because the letters from the county secretary must have been the county secretary indicated there were instructions from the governor.
Indicated that those were he's acting on the instructions of the governor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Has the governor to date revoked the appointment of the persons meant to replace you?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Are they in the office?
They handed over, and then they were given other mandate again, Mr. Speaker. But their letters which appointed them to that office have not been revoked.
Their letters have not been revoked. Are they within the establishment for the last 2 weeks that you've been in the office?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Now, the governor argues that he was ordered by the court to pay you salary. What's your opinion on that? What is your take on that?
I don't agree with that, Mr. Speaker.
Why don't you agree?
It is because the issue of payment of our salaries where we are not working is in the compulsory leave letter which originated from the governor's office.
Did that court order in particular address the question of payment of salaries?
The court order addressed reinstatement and the revocation of appointment letters of those officers who are in
and revocation of the letters.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I want to pen over that point. I will subject the witness, Honorable Speaker, to cross-examination.
Counsel for the governor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Sir, it is my singular pleasure to take on this witness in cross-examination. My name is Elisha Ongoya. Allow me to start from where the witness has ended. Mr. Arimi Paul Mwaki.
Yes.
Is it your testimony before these distinguished senators that the court did not order that you be paid salaries?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. May I have the witness's attention drawn to the index of annexures to the governor's response, in particular at page 402.
Counsel, refer to those bundles in terms of volumes for ease of reference. Huh?
You know, my apologies, Mr. Speaker. The governor just filed 3 documents, one called a response and one called index of annexures to the response. Then we have the transcript of videos. So just 3 documents.
Very well.
The biggest document in blue, the biggest volume in blue, page 402. Mr. Paul Mwaki Arimi, are we there?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm there.
Please confirm for these senators that that is a court order.
I can confirm, Mr. Speaker.
Page 402. The biggest blue volume, yes, at page 402. Thank you. Please confirm to these honorable senators that what you are seeing there is a court order.
I'm seeing a court order, Mr. Speaker.
The second petitioner, or the second applicant stroke claimant in that order is Paul Mwaki Arimi. True or not true?
True, Mr. Speaker.
And that Paul Mwaki Arimi is you, the Assembly's witness number 1 before this Senate.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Let us turn over to the second page, no, the next page, page 403 of that document. Confirm for the record that this is a continuation of that court order that began at page 402.
Confirmed, Mr. Speaker.
Please confirm, and I read, Order 6 reads as follows, that finally, Dr. Atheru is directed to file sufficient evidence in court within 7 days to show that all the petitioner's salary have been paid from May 2022 to date.
Confirmed.
Please confirm that it says.
Confirmed.
Are you among the petitioners who are being ordered, for whom that order is being made?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And that order relates to salary.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
And Dr. Atheru has to confirm to court he has paid your salary.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
It is this salary that you are telling these senators was not paid pursuant to a court order.
I did not indicate salary was not paid, Mr. Speaker.
It is the one you said the payment was not pursuant to a court order. It was pursuant to the compulsory leave letter. You remember that indication?
I will not agree with that because there are two court orders. The court order.
Didn't talk about how many court orders. I've just said I am looking at a court order referring to a salary.
Yes.
Are we communicating?
Yes, I agree.
But you have also told these distinguished senators that your salary was not paid pursuant to a court order. It was paid pursuant to the letter sending you on compulsory leave. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember saying that.
You don't remember? I'm happy with that. The record will bear me out.
Excuse me, Mr. Speaker.
My apologies. I've finished my question.
Excuse me, Mr. Speaker.
I have finished my question. I'm going to the next. Kindly serve my time. We have only 4 hours. Finish with your case.
Okay.
Allow me to pick the second limb of argument. And Your Honor, may I request that the video in support of count number 5 that was played here be played.
Sasa mtoiti wewe ndio tunafurusha. Hata koti ikisema urundi kwa ile ofisi. Mtoiti sisi tunashikana na hawa maasra tunakutoa pale. Mtoiti hautakaribia ile ofisi na pia mbele.
Sorry, I wanted the clip to remain visible so that the witness can identify something in the clip. Okay, my apologies. Pause the video. Sorry, my apologies. I may have slipped the tongue. Did I? Kindly play and pause.
Counsel, I hope you're not assuming I'm in that video.
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. It was a complete slip of the tongue. I couldn't even remember saying it. My deepest apologies. Sadly, Mr. Speaker, I don't even know who is playing, so I can't even look at whoever is playing. I'm just seeing the screen. May I have the video replayed?
Sasa mtoiti wewe ndio tunafurusha.
Thank you. Mr. Witness, who is that person standing behind the person speaking?
Mr. Speaker, that is the face of the Deputy Governor, County Government of Meru.
That is the Deputy Governor, County Government of Meru, behind the person speaking. True or not true?
True.
This video was played, and I may urge it to be replayed. Have you seen the governor in that video?
Sasa mtoiti wewe ndio tunafurusha. Hata koti ikisema urundi kwa ile ofisi. Mtoiti sisi tunashikana na hawa maasra tunakutoa pale. Mtoiti hautakaribia ile ofisi na pia mbelia ambiwa kwamba hii ofisi ya MEWAS hata ikaribia.
Okay. You spoke when your microphone was off. I want the record to capture you, so I'll ask the question again.
Yes, please.
Have you seen the governor in that clip from beginning to end?
Up to where the clip is, I have not seen the governor.
This clip was presented here by your team, so we don't know whether there's a further continuation of that clip. Are you suggesting it continues beyond where it has reached?
It can continue, Mr. Speaker. I'm suggesting you can continue.
Let me get a precise answer to my question. Have you seen the governor in the whole of that clip?
I said no.
Your case before this Senate is that the governor should be held responsible for the utterances of that gentleman speaking.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker.
I'm happy and I understand what your case is. I want you to look at your volume 1, the Assembly's documents, volume 1, at page 7.
Yes, I'm there.
Confirm for the record that it says, page 7, volume 1. Page 7 of volume 1 of the County Assembly's document. That page 7 starts with a paragraph numbered C.
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. The grievance in that paragraph is paying full salary and benefits for more than a year to Dr. Ntoiti, Paul Mwaki, Kenneth Kimathi Mbae. My question to you is this the same salary we have seen in the order of court at page 403 of the governor's document?
It's the same salary?
It's the same salary, thank you. Are you complaining for having been paid this salary?
Yes, I'm complaining, Mr. Speaker.
For having been paid this salary?
For having been paid the salary without offering the services to the taxpayers from Meru.
Order, senators. Order, senators. I order, honorable senators. Sergeant at Arms, kindly go up there and tell the members of public the only thing we need from them are their ears and their eyes, nothing more.
May I proceed, Mr. Speaker, sir? May I proceed, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you so much. When were you paid this salary? When did you see it in your account?
At the end of the month is where normally salaries get into our accounts.
Just want the record to be clear when, say end of September, end of October, so that the record is clear.
As per attached pay slips, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, may I kindly get the witness to answer my question so that I make progress? When were you paid this salary? Which month? Which end of which month?
At the end of every month from the time we were sent on compulsory leave. But when
did this payment, when this cash land in your account? When did you see this money in your account that you have been paid?
It's not on regular dates because it's paid on monthly basis. It's not paid on lump sum.
When were you first paid this salary? When was the first time?
Immediately we were sent home, we received the salary. That is in the end of September 2022.
Have you made any efforts to return this money to the county government since you are aggrieved by the payment?
I'm not supposed to do so, Mr. Speaker.
Have you made any effort to return this money to the county government?
I haven't.
You haven't? Let me clarify something for this information, for the record of this senator. It is true that Mr. Maranya, advocate appearing before you here today, is your advocate in that court case. True or not true?
True, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. That matter came up in court today. True or not true?
I'm not sure, Mr. Speaker, but it was supposed to come up today for...
That matter was supposed to come up today in court at Meru.
But I'm not sure whether it came up or not.
I'm asking, it was supposed to come up today.
It was.
At the Employment and Labor Relations Court in Meru. True or not true?
True.
Has your advocate briefed you on whether or not, as a matter of fact, it came up?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. We can live with that. When were you sent on compulsory leave?
I was sent on compulsory leave together with two others on 6th of September in the year 2022.
6th September 2022. When did the court give the conservatory order in petition number 1 of 2022 at Meru?
Conservatory orders were issued on 7th of October 2022.
Was that before or after the governor's first impeachment proceedings or removal proceedings for this House?
It was before the first impeachment motion was tabled.
This was before the first impeachment proceedings for this House.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Did you make this grievance part of that impeachment process?
It didn't come to this place, Mr. Speaker, so we didn't make it part of it.
I didn't understand your answer. You did suggest that that didn't come to Senate?
We didn't make it part of the grounds for impeachment.
You didn't make that grievance part of the first impeachment?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
It is that ground that arose well before the first impeachment that is being made the part of this impeachment?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Allow me to briefly take you to page 336 to 339 of volume 2 of the County Assembly's documents.
Pages 336
to 339.
Yes, I'm there.
Is that letter authored by the governor?
The letter is authored by the...
No, just answer my question. Is it authored by the governor?
No.
Is it copied to the governor?
No.
Let's look at a document at page 337. Is that letter authored by the governor?
It's not authored by the governor.
I'm going with the same volume, volume 2 of the County Assembly's documents, volume 2 of the County Assembly's documents. May I describe it as the big green volume? So we are now looking at page 337.
Yes.
And I'll repeat the question for the benefit of the distinguished members who hadn't seen the document. Is that letter authored by the governor?
No.
Is it copied to the governor?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Let's look at page 339 following. Is that letter authored by the governor? My apologies. Thank you so much, Senator. 338. My apologies. 338.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Is it copied to the governor?
No.
You have said, correct me if I got you wrong, that the author of this letter said that he was acting on the instructions of the governor. Did I get you right?
You got me right.
The body of that letter has only 3 sentences. At page 336, the body of the letter, page 336, has only 3 sentences.
Yes.
Which of the 3 sentences, you can use first, second, or third, which of the 3 sentences says that the author says he was acting on the instructions of the governor?
None.
None. If I got you right, the evidence of the compulsory leave letters is to be found at pages 336 to which page?
Page 338.
To 338.
Yes.
Which of those letters is addressed to you?
The one addressed to me is not attached here, Mr. Speaker, but this is a sample because all the letters add the same information except our names only.
To save time, are you saying that of all the letters presented to this Senate to support that point, none is addressed to you, the witness on the stand?
The samples here, none.
Is that what you are saying? Am I saying the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. When you are employed in the county government of Meru, was your employment letter under the hand of the governor?
The governor gazetted me, Mr. Speaker.
The governor?
Gazetted.
Was the gazette notice under the hand of the governor?
Of course, it is the governor who gazettes.
I've asked you a simple question, not what of course it is. I'm asking what in fact it was. Are we communicating?
Yes.
Was the gazette notice under the hand of the governor?
I just know there was a gazette notice. I don't know who said.
Mr. Speaker, my question is not ambiguous. I would rather the witness is ordered to answer my question.
Yes, it is the governor.
Have you presented that gazette notice anywhere in the documents you have given this Senate?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Does the governor prepare the payroll for your payment to your knowledge?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Let me just get this right. It is that person who is not responsible for your name on the payroll. It is that person who didn't author these letters at page 336 to 338. It is that person who was not copied in these letters from page 336 to 338. It is that person who didn't speak in that meeting you have just showed us on that clip that you want this Senate to impeach. Am I getting your case right?
Correct.
Thank you. Allow me to refer you to yet another document, which is the ruling of the Employment and Labor Relations Court in Meru. And for ease of time, I want us to go to page 436 of volume 2 of the County Assembly's documents. Page 436. Please confirm. My apologies.
A moment. Yes, I'm on page 436.
Just for the record, I want you to confirm that that is a part of the ruling of the Employment and Labor Relations Court at Meru.
I confirm.
I want us to read paragraph 34 so that you confirm whether I'm reading it correctly, just for the sake of the Hansard of this House. In view of the matters and findings made herein above, it is clear that all the three thresholds for contempt of court have been proved by evidence and to the required standard. Consequently, I must cite the respondents for contempt for disobeying the order issued by Marete J. on 7th October 2022. Confirm that after that, the order says the county secretary, Mr. Rufus Miriti, is the head of the county public service and is the one who wrote the impound compulsory leave letters. Therefore, he was the proper person to ensure that the court orders were complied with by ensuring that the applicants are allowed back to their offices and all their salaries were duly paid. Am I reading it correctly?
Correctly.
For completeness of record, confirm that the court is also referring to that your salaries be fully paid.
Reinstated and fully paid.
Yes, the court ruling is talking about to ensure that your salaries are duly paid.
Confirm.
Thank you. And therefore, it is not correct to say that your salaries were not paid pursuant to a court order. It is not correct. Say that your salaries were not paid pursuant to a court order, I will not be speaking the truth.
You would be lying.
I'll be lying. And therefore, when you told this Senate that your salaries were not paid pursuant to a court order, you equally were lying.
I am not lying.
The court order at paragraph 34, the court ruling at paragraph 34 identifies by name and office the person who was responsible or the proper person to ensure that those court orders were complied with. Does it?
Yes, it identifies.
Whose name is it?
The name is the person and the office, County Secretary Rufus.
Now I want you to give me the name.
Rufus Miriti.
Rufus Miriti. The office is?
County Secretary.
County Secretary. That person is not facing impeachment before the Senate, is he?
Exactly.
Is that person facing impeachment in the Senate?
No.
Whom did the court summon to attend court and purge the contempt?
The court invited the County Secretary.
By name?
Dr. Kiambi Atheru.
Dr. Kiambi?
Atheru.
Veru. Is that person before this Senate facing impeachment?
Not.
Let's go to page 438 of volume 2 of the County Assembly's documents. Page 438 in particular, paragraph 37B.
I'm there.
Is that the paragraph summoning Rufus Miriti or his successor in title?
Yes.
That title would be the title of County Secretary. True or not true?
True.
Is any of those people, either Rufus Miriti or his successor, before this Senate for impeachment?
No.
Did I hear you to say that the governor appeared in court?
You did. I didn't say that.
You didn't say that. I'm happy. I just want clarification. So if you didn't say that, I'm happy with it. Did I hear you to say that you got audience with the governor over your compulsory leave matter?
Yes, through the County Secretary, I said.
You got audience with the governor?
Through the County Secretary.
I want to get this right. The county has an officer called county governor.
Yes.
True or not true?
Yes, we did.
The county has another officer called county secretary. True or not true?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I'm asking the first officer, county governor. Did I hear you to say you got audience with that person?
We sought audience through the County Secretary.
Did you get it?
We didn't get
You didn't
the
get
audience
it.
of the governor directly.
So you never spoke to the governor over this matter directly?
Instead, we spoke to the County Secretary.
So you never spoke directly to the county governor over this matter?
Yes.
In the course of the proceedings in Meru Employment and Labor Relations Court petition number 1 of 2022, you once filed an application to have Mr. Murega. Do you remember that?
Yes, we did.
You filed to have Mr. Murega Baichu made a party because you believed he must be held personally responsible for his own actions or words.
Yes.
Before this Senate, you believe the governor is now the one to be held responsible for the words of Mr. Murega Baichu.
Yes, I believe.
I'm happy with that, and that is all in my cross-examination of this witness.
Counsel for the County Assembly, any re-examination?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, and it will be done by my colleague, Mr. Eric Muriuki.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Eric Murioki, Advocate of the High Court. I shall be conducting the re-examination. Now, Mr. Paul Mwaki.
Yes, please.
You are referred to two orders. The first order is the order that is on page. There is the order that is dated 7th of October, 2022.
Yes, you referred me to that.
Have you seen that order?
I know it.
That is the order on page
460.
440 of volume 2. Is that order different from the order on page 402 of the governor's documents?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, they are different.
On page 402 of the governor's index of documents,
yes.
I want you to tell me, at the top of that order, where does the story of payment of salaries come in?
It comes on item number 1.
What is the heading of where that is explained?
That it says that all the salaries have been paid.
No, what is the title?
The title is in open court via Teams on the 19th of October 2023 before the Honorable Justice Onesimus N. Macau.
Confirm that the issue of salary is brought in as an explanation, or rather as a way of mitigation, for the respondents to avoid being punished for contempt of court.
I do confirm.
This whole proceeding or this whole sitting and the hearing will be taking place. Remember, after the sitting starts at 9 a.m. or once the chair is taken, the members will be retreating to have a pre-hearing meeting of the senators in a closed door session. Then they will be resuming to the chambers at around 11 according to the order of business for the day, and then the hearing will be open to the public. But a look at what exactly this governor faces is that when the Senate received the resolutions from the County Assembly pursuant to Standing Order 80 over the House on the procedure for removal of a governor, is that within 7 days after receiving notice of a resolution from the Speaker of a County Assembly supporting the removal of a governor of a county, of course, pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, there are two options. The Speaker of the Senate shall convene a meeting of the Senate to hear the charges against the governor, and in this case, the House can make a resolution on whether to hear these proceedings or these accusations at a committee stage or at plenary. And what we understand is that the House on Tuesday resolved to have these matters investigated and determined at the plenary. So today marks the beginning of the official hearing over the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County. And like I told you earlier, is that the Speaker will be getting into the chambers, give a communication, of course, guiding briefing the House on how this whole process will take place, and the senators will be retreating to a closed session. I now hand you over to this live broadcast. Good morning.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
That is the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi. He has taken the chair, but before the commencement of the House business, remember, much as this sitting is on the consideration or the hearing of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County, the House has to follow the standing orders that at the commencement of a sitting, then the House has to have a requisite quorum. In this case, 15 members needed to be in the chambers for the House to commence its business at any particular sitting or at any committee of the whole. So in this case, the bell will ring for 10 minutes as directed by the Speaker. Of course, this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 40. But even before the lapse of the 10 minutes, if the House has achieved or will have achieved the requisite quorum, then the Speaker will call the House to order, of course, and the business will start or rather will commence. But I look at what exactly this sitting is all about this morning. Remember, the Senate usually sits in the afternoon sitting, and today is a Tuesday. Its normal plenary sittings is on an afternoon, but today we are having this sitting on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and this is purposely to have the hearing of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Meru County Governor. So the quorum bell is on. But remember, the House last week resolved to have these accusations against the governor be heard and determined at the plenary sitting. So today marks the official sitting. And this was determined on Tuesday of 31st. And the both sides, that is the county assembly, remember what has been happening since the House ruled that the investigation or the hearing will be done at the plenary, is that the parties were summoned to the parties, by parties I mean the county assembly and the executive, that is the side of the governor, was summoned to forward their submission to the Senate. In this case, looking at what the accusations the county assembly had leveled against the governor, if there is any evidence, perhaps personal statements, again as sworn affidavits, and any other material that they will be using to defend the accusations that they have leveled against the governor. And they had until Saturday. This was after 4 days, of course, pursuant to the law. That is after 4 days, once the communication has been done at the Senate on the resolutions by a county assembly on the proposed removal from office of a governor. Within 4 days, both parties are given to forward their submissions to the Senate. And the deadline for this particular case was on Saturday at 5 p.m., where of course, both parties, that is the governor's side and the county assembly's side, complied and forwarded their submissions. Of course, from the governor's side, we will be expecting that they give out, of course, evidence to counter the accusations that have been leveled against the governor and any other material that they deem fit to absolve the governor of the charges that have been leveled against her. Of course, the submissions also contained the legal team from both parties. We shall be taking a look at what, or rather who are in those legal teams for both sides. But that is what has been happening since the communication was made at the Senate on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the governor of Meru County, today marking the official commencement of the hearing over the impeachment of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. Remember, this is not the first time governor lands at the Senate with regards to impeachment proposals. Last year, in December, the governor was also at the Senate chambers, of course, the hearing, but remember that time the investigation of the matter was done at the committee stage. Then a report was brought to the plenary, and members had the report or read the report of the committee, and they, at the end of the day, voted on each charge that the governor was facing. This time round, the governor is facing 7 charges, and the members will have an opportunity to scrutinize each and every of this charge. Remember, it will not be investigated at the committee, but at the whole plenary sitting. All members, the 67 members, will have an opportunity to look at these charges. On Saturday, when both parties gave out their submissions, is that the submissions were exchanged between the two parties, each party having a few copies of the other party's submissions. And of course, this is to give them an opportunity to look at what the other party has and also prepare how to defend or how to counter the accusations that have been put forth before the Senate against the governor. And remember also, the members of the Senate also were forwarded a few copies, of course, to take a look at what the accusations are, what the evidence is being tabled, and what documents have been forwarded. Then once they come to the chambers, then they will be having information on how to go about all this matter. Remember, each and every senator will have an opportunity to scrutinize both the governor and the county assembly on what has been forwarded to the Senate with regards to the accusations that are being leveled against the governor. If you are just joining us, it is a quorum bell that is currently underway. The sitting was scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. The Speaker has taken the chair, but there is no quorum at the House to warrant the commencement of House business. 15 members are needed to be in the chambers to enable the House commence its business, and this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 40. If the quorum is not present, the House business cannot commence, and a quorum bell will be rung for 10 minutes. Of course, this is to alert members that the business of the House, or the House is about to start its business, but cannot because the House does not have the required number of members in the chambers, seated at the chambers for it to commence its business. So the quorum bell will be on. Members are expected to be walking in. We have seen the Nairobi Senator, Honorable Edwin C. Funa, who is also the Deputy Minority Whip. And he walked out of the chambers to see whether he will be seeing any members, but we saw him, of course, walking back into the chambers. Perhaps there are still no members within the precincts of Parliament, but of course the bell is to alert them that in case you are within the precincts of Parliament, then your presence inside the chambers is highly required to give way or to pave way for the commencement of the House business. Remember, this is a morning sitting on a Tuesday of the Senate, a day that is set aside to hear the impeachment proposals forwarded to the Senate by the Meru County Assembly. On Tuesday, the Senate resolved to hear and determine this particular case at plenary. So these accusations of the governor or against the governor will be heard at the plenary sitting with all the 67 members of the Senate in the chambers, and will have an opportunity to scrutinize what these charges are. 7 charges are facing the governor. One is on the misappropriation and misuse of county resources. And there are a number of particulars that are within this particular number 1 charge on the misappropriation of misuse of county resources. These particulars may include embezzled county funds through the governor's relatives. She's also accused of having withdrawn county funds through false claims of payment for supplies and service rendered by the governor's relatives, despite being ineligible to tender for or supply goods to the county governors. Those are just but a few of the particulars that the governor is said to have committed in charge number 1 on the misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Charge number 2, the governor is accused of nepotism and related unethical practices. In this case, having fraudulently represented unqualified relatives as a technical team for medical equipment inspection in China. Also employed one Edwin Mutuma Murangiri, a nephew to her husband, in a key county position. Also assigned diplomatic duties with engagements with foreign diplomats and all right. The Speaker has directed that a further 5-minute quorum bell be rung, of course, to allow the members to walk into the chambers. Let me take you back to what the quorum bell is all about. Earlier on, when the chair was taken by the Speaker, a prayer was said, and according to the House Standing Order number 40, is that once a prayer is done and the House lacks the requisite quorum, that is 15 members in the chambers. As you can see, there are no members seated in the chambers. We can only see one senator, that is Honorable Edwin Sifuna, of course. There are also other members nominated, Senator Catherine Muma there. So if the House does not have a requisite number, that is 15 members in the chambers seated at the commencement of House business, then a quorum bell will be on for 10 minutes. We have seen the quorum bell being rung for 10 minutes. And according to the House Standing Order is once the 10-minute quorum bell expires, the Speaker may direct that the bell be rung for a further 10 minutes. In this case, the Speaker has given that directive that another 10